Welcome back, my dear listeners. Thank you for joining me once again. Today, I would like to talk about something that, sooner or later, touches every one of us. The search for answers. Sooner or later, that moment comes to almost everyone. Imagine a young woman. She avoids looking at herself in the mirror whenever she can. She cannot help believing that everyone else is more beautiful, more successful, happier. Her friends are building careers, traveling, falling in love, getting married, while she spends yet another evening alone. And the same questions return again and again. Why does nothing ever seem to work out for me? Am I really not good enough? Will my life ever change? Now imagine a man, returning home late after another long day at work. He works hard, sometimes far too hard, yet the bills continue to arrive faster than his salary. Each month begins to look exactly like the one before. Until one evening he catches himself thinking, is this really all life has to offer? Or perhaps a woman who owns a small cafe. She has poured her heart into it, her savings, her strength, her time. She cares deeply about every detail, the quality of the food, the service, the atmosphere. Yet fewer and fewer customers walk through the door. Expenses continue to rise. Rent continues to rise. But the profits never seem to come. And eventually, she asks herself one simple question. What am I doing wrong? There are thousands of stories like these, and perhaps one of them feels uncomfortably familiar. Perhaps, in some small way, it resembles your own. That is usually when a person begins to search. Some turn to a psychologist. Some seek comfort in a church. Some bury themselves in books. Others begin to explore esoteric traditions and eventually discover magic. But this does not happen because people are foolish, nor because they are naive. Quite the opposite. Very often, the search begins precisely when ordinary answers are no longer enough. When a person realizes that another piece of advice will not help, another motivational phrase will not help, and hearing once again, everything will be all right, is simply no longer enough. They want to understand why things are happening. They want to see the deeper pattern, to discover whether there is more beneath the surface than they have been taught to notice. But it is precisely here, at the very beginning of the search, that many people make their first mistake. They come to magic hoping for a miracle, a quick solution, a secret formula, a magic wand, a way to change their life in just a few days. And today, there is certainly no shortage of people willing to promise exactly that. They promise wealth, love, success, the fulfillment of every desire. When those promises fail to become reality, disappointment soon follows. People simply conclude, magic doesn't work, and they walk away. But in most cases, the problem is not magic, nor the tradition, nor even the tools themselves. The problem lies in our expectations. For thousands of years, magic was never a collection of miraculous shortcuts. It was a way of exploring the world, a way of exploring ourselves. A lifelong search for the hidden connections between events, symbols, and the inner life of the human being. We only have to look at history. The priests of ancient Mesopotamia observed the movements of the stars and planets. The priests of Egypt studied the rhythms of nature. The philosophers of Greece reflected on the elements and the structure of the universe. Medieval alchemists devoted their lives to endless experiments, carefully recording both their successes and their failures. Despite all their differences, they shared one thing. They observed, they questioned, they doubted, they tested, they made mistakes, and then they continued searching. So, whenever we speak about magic, there is one thing we should always remember. Magic does not begin with a ritual. It does not begin with a candle, or a sigil, or even an ancient grimoire. It begins with attention, with the ability to observe, with the willingness to notice what has always been there, yet somehow remained unseen. That is why today I would like to offer you a very simple exercise. You do not need any special knowledge, no rituals, no magical tools. Simply turn on a tap. Hold your hands beneath the running water. Notice its temperature, its movement, its flow. Do not try to achieve anything. Do not expect a mystical experience. Simply observe. After a few minutes, turn the water off. Dry your hands, then close your eyes and try to recreate the sensation. Feel the coolness once again, the touch of the water against your skin, its flowing presence, as though it was still resting in the palms of your hands. If you manage to do that, then let me congratulate you. You have taken your very first step. Not into magic, but into the development of attention, into the ability to hold an image and a sensation within your mind. And that is where every true seeker begins. In the next chapters, we will explore the 4 classical elements: earth, water, air, and fire. But we shall not look at them merely as abstract symbols. Instead, we shall discover them as forces that human beings have observed, questioned, and sought to understand for thousands of years. If today's chapter has sparked your curiosity, I would be delighted if you subscribed to the channel and gave this video a like. Your support helps this journey continue and allows me to create the next chapters for you. If you are ready, I invite you to continue with Chapter 3. My name is Desiro. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until our next chapter.